Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. We are now in lesson 6, join operation part 2. At the end of this lesson, you should be able to understand the natural join, join with using clause, and join with on clause. In SQL, besides using normal join method like in part 1 of the lesson, we have a few options of join operations to solve the problem. We can use natural join, join with using clause, join with on clause, outer join, and cross join, just like in the syntax shown on screen. Let's talk about inner join. If we use the concept of inner join, only data that met the join condition will be projected in table result. Your table result can never have null values if we use inner join. The types of inner join that we are going to take a look are natural join, join with using, and join with on clause. A natural join is based on all columns in two tables that have the same name and select rows from the two tables that have equal values in all matched columns. If we want to use natural join, we must make sure that the common attribute must have the same name and same data type. What does it mean here? You need to really check your physical database to make sure that the common attributes have the same name and same data type. Then you can use natural join. If we take a look in our HR schema, the common attribute of employees and departments is department ID. They have the same column name. Take a look at the data type. Data type in employees is number, and data type in departments for department ID is also a number. Means we can use natural join to combine data that are coming from these two tables. For example, select last name, department ID, department name from employees, natural join departments, and this is the result that you will get. The implementation of natural join is quite simple, as you don't need to do the join condition. The Oracle server will do it implicitly for you as long as the common attribute has the same name and the same data type. Now let's take a look at join using. Sometimes we are not sure whether our common attribute has the same data type or not. If we use natural join, Oracle server might return error message due to non-matched data type of common attribute. Hence, the other join operation that we can use is join with using clause. You know that the common attribute have the same column name but with different data type. For example, you may have an access to the data model but not the physical database. You are sure that employees and departments tables can be joined by using the common attribute, which is department ID. Since the data type is not shown in the data model, we can use join with using clause. For example, select last name, department ID, department name from employees, join departments using department ID. If you take a look, inside the using clause, we need to enclose the common attribute in parentheses. Another thing that you need to remember is attribute in a parenthesis cannot be qualified. That's why if you take a look, department ID in the select clause has no qualifier for the common attribute. If we take a look at this example, if we have a condition in our SQL, we put the where clause after the using clause. Select last name, department ID, department name from employees join departments using department ID where department name like A. If we take a look at the next example here, we have select employee ID E.department ID, department name from employees E join departments D using department ID. If you take a look, you will receive an error message from Oracle server. Why? Because we qualify the column inside the using clause. Take a look in our select clause, E.department ID. If you want to qualify employee ID or department name, there will be no problem since it is not being used inside using clause. The same problem also can be tackled by using join with on clause, but this on clause is more flexible. For example, in employees table, the common attribute name is department ID. But In departments table, what if the common attribute name is depth ID? Of course, natural join and join with using clause cannot be used here, since the common attributes do not have the same column name. Hence, this is where the join with on clause is needed. Since we know department ID from employees is referring to depth ID in departments, then the join condition will be like this. Select last name, department ID, department name from employees, join departments D on e.department ID equals to d.depth ID. If we take a look, we will still have the same result like we are using the natural join and join with using clause. Let's take a look at the next example based on HR schema that we have. The common attributes have the same name, department ID, and the same data type, which is a number. Even though this can be tackled by using natural join and join with using clause, however, as I said, join with on clause also can be used to handle the same problem. But please be reminded, in select clause, you need to qualify the common attributes. You need to give instruction to Oracle server from which table do you want to display the common attributes. You can select both data, but just make sure you qualify and give different column alias to indicate from which table does the common attributes coming from, just like in this example. The result is still the same like the other join operations, but with extra columns being projected in the table result. Let's take a look on the implementation. If we want to use natural join, we need to make sure that our common attribute will have the same name and the same data type. For example, we want to join employees and departments. In employees and departments, the common attribute is department ID. Take a look, the name is department ID, the data type is number. Same goes inside departments. The name is the department ID, column name, and the data type is number. So if they have the same column name and the same data type, then we can use natural join. For example, select employee ID, last name, department ID, department name from employees, natural join departments. We don't need to specify the join condition over here. The Oracle server will find it implicitly for you. Let's execute this one, and this is the result that we will get, the employees and their department's name. Okay, sometimes you are not sure whether your common attribute will have the same data type or not, then we can use join with using clause. For example, select employee ID, last name, department ID, department name from employees, join departments using what is the common attribute between employees and departments? Department ID. Put it inside the parentheses. Okay, so if we execute this one, we will have the same result. So we have 107 employees, but we get only 106 because there is one employee. If you take a look, there is one employee who has no department. Okay, take a look here. This is manager. Wait, let's take a look here. There is one employee who has no department. Take a look, Grant here. Okay, Grant has no department ID, so that's why the result that we get here is only 106 instead of 107. Remember, join using natural join and join on is an inner join. Inner join means you cannot have null values in your table result. Okay, so if, take a look, if I want to qualify employee ID coming from employee, so I put e.employee ID. So let's give table alias first, from employees E, join with departments D. So last name coming from employee E.last name, department name coming from department D.department name. Take a look, department ID we have in both tables, isn't it? We have department ID from employees, we have department ID from department. So if we qualify here, E.department ID means we want to take employees department ID from employees. We will receive an error message. They say that column part of using clause cannot have qualifier. Take a look, this is using clause, this column cannot have qualifier. So if we don't give qualifier to this department ID, then it can be executed. Okay, for employee ID, for last name, for department name, there is no problem to qualify them because of it is not being used inside using clause. Okay, so please be reminded, do not qualify the column that is being used inside using clause. That is the condition for join with using clause. But it is a different story with join with on clause. Let's change this query to on clause on e.departmentID equals to d.departmentID. Okay, so this is the join condition that we have. We want to qualify the e.departmentID. Department ID from employees must be the same from department ID from departments. Okay, so if we execute this one, take a look. I don't put qualifier for the department ID. Then we will receive an error message. It said that column ambiguously defined. Because if we are using the join with on clause, we need to qualify that the common attribute that you want to display is coming from which table. If I want it to be from employees, I should put e.departmentID. Then it can be executed. If you want it to come from department, d.departmentID, it is also can be executed. You just need to make sure that you qualify the tables, the common attribute that is coming from which table that you want. But what if I don't qualify employee ID here? Can it be executed? Yes, there's no problem. Okay, because employee ID is coming only from employees. We don't have employee ID inside department, so your Oracle server know where to find the employee ID. But for the common attribute, you need to qualify. If you don't qualify, then you will receive an error message. So what if I want to have both e.departmentID and also d.departmentID? So there's no problem here. Okay, so if we take a look here, we still can get this department ID coming from employees, another department ID coming from department. Okay, so if we execute this one, that's why take a look at our join condition. e.departmentID must be equals to d.departmentID. See, 10, 10, 20, 20, 30, 30. Because we want to make sure that the join condition is correct. So, but if it's confusing, isn't it? Department ID. So maybe we can give a column alias. So this is department ID from employees. Okay, dep ID employees. And we give another column alias here. This is department ID from department. So that you will not be confused. Okay, then you know that this is department ID from employees. This is department ID from department. So if you want to take from both tables, then please give a column alias so that your representation in the table result will be clearer. So if you take a look here, it's up to you which one do you want to use. It's either you want to use the join with using or join with on clause. Both will give you the same results. It is that they just have different kind of implementation, and there are certain rules that you need to follow for each and every join operation here. So I guess that's all for now. See you again in the next part. Thank you.